Okay, so let's cut straight to the chase. We've got Tchaikovsky and Brahms in the same room. Let's get on with the diary entry. So Tchaikovsky was describing Brahms's appearance. He said his fine head, he'd said that he resembled a Russian priest. He goes on a little bit further. His features are certainly not characteristic of Russian good looks, and I cannot conceive why some learned ethnographer, Brahms himself told me this after I'd spoken of the impression his appearance made upon me, chose to reproduce his head on the first page of one of his books as being highly characteristic of German features, whatever that means. A certain softness of outline, pleasing curves, rather long and slightly grizzled hair, kind grey eyes, and a thick beard freely sprinkled with white. All this recalled at once the type of pure Great Russian so frequently met with among our clergy. So he reiterates that comparison with Russian priests. Brahms's appearance is quite interesting. If you look at photographs of him as a young man, he's actually quite a dashing young man. Long hair, sort of chiseled features, which he chose later in life to cover up with the great beard. There's a sort of tendency in Brahms to cover up, I think, even perhaps as a composer. Tchaikovsky himself points this out later on, so we'll get to that. Brahms's manner, he says, is very simple, free from vanity. His humour jovial, and the few hours spent in his society left me with a very agreeable recollection. Unfortunately, I was forced to confess that in spite of a somewhat prolonged stay among them in Leipzig, I had not got on very well with the most prominent representatives of modern German music. The reason was as follows. Like all my Russian musical friends, without exception, I only respected in Brahms an honourable, energetic musician of strong convictions, but in spite of all efforts to the contrary, I never could and never can admire his music. Brahmsism is very widespread throughout Germany. There are a number of authoritative people and an entire musical institution specially consecrated to the Brahms cult. And he is considered a great man, almost the equal of Beethoven. But there are anti-Brahmsites in Germany and everywhere beyond the German frontier, with the exception perhaps of London, where thanks to the energetic propaganda of Joachim, that's Brahms's old friend, the amazing violinist Joachim, who's very popular in England, the greatness of Brahms is recognised to a certain extent. Everywhere else, as I say, there reigns complete ignorance and ignoring of Brahms, but nowhere perhaps has he made less way than in Russia. I'll pick up some of Tchaikovsky's rather fascinating observations in the next short.